Today we talk about finding the perimeter and area of two polygons. Their vertices are given below. I've drawn these on a graph which we'll go to in just a moment, but we've got a few vocab words that we need to talk about first. Perimeter, area, and polygon we will define. First we're going to start with polygon. Now a polygon is simply a shape that is made up of straight sides. So if you see something like a hexagon, for example, this has 6 sides and they're all straight. It is a polygon. Any shape that's made up of straight sides is a polygon. Perimeter is the measure around the outside edge of a shape. So we take all the measurements of this. Let's say this is 3, 3, 3. These are all 3 units in length, and we would add them up. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 would give us 18 total units in length for the perimeter. The area is the space inside the shape, the space that's enclosed by the polygon. So we're going to find those two things for each of these polygons. Let's go over here to the graph, and you can see that we've drawn the 2 polygons right here. Now, we're going to start with this blue polygon right here. It is a square. To find the perimeter, we need to find the lengths of all the sides. So we're just going to count. These are horizontal and vertical. Easy to count. 1, 2, 3 on this. 1, 2, 3. 3, 3, 3, and 3. So the 4 sides each have 3 units of length. Add those together. 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3 gives us a total of 12 units in length to go around the outside edge of that polygon. Area is measured using squares. So we notice that the inside of this is filled up with little squares. We simply count up how many squares there are. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. And you might remember a formula for area of squares and rectangles. Area is length times width. That simply comes from the fact that we have 3 rows of 3 squares, and 3 times 3 is 9. So our area is 9. Now we have units, but we're measuring with little squares, so it's units squared to indicate that we're measuring with those little squares. Let's take a look at now the triangle drawn in green right here. 2 of these sides are easy to measure. They are horizontal and vertical, so we can just count them. That's 1, 2, 3 right here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right there. This third side is diagonal, so we have to go back to the Pythagorean Theorem in order to find the length of that diagonal side. So this is a right triangle right here. Pythagorean Theorem is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. We've got a, we've got b, and we don't know what c is, but we're trying to find that. And then we can add those together and get the perimeter. So we have a squared, that would be 5 squared, plus b squared, which is 3 squared, equals, and again, just a reminder that c is the longest side right here, so that's c squared. 5 squared is 25, plus 3 squared, which is 9, equals c squared. And then we finish that out, we have 34 equals c squared. To get rid of this square, we're going to take the square root. So we've got the square root of 34, which is not a nice number. We're going to leave it as the square root of 34, or you can plug it into a calculator and approximate it. I'm going to do that in this case because when we approximate the values, it'll be easier for us to add them together. So we're going to do the square root of 34, which ends up being approximately 5.8 units, and that is rounded. So round to the appropriate place as requested, 5.8 units. Okay, add these together, we get 5 plus 3, which is 8, plus another 5.8 gives us a total of 13.8 units. So the length of all the edges together is 13.8 units. That is our perimeter around this. Now the area of the triangle is a little bit more difficult than the square was because this side cuts through the some of the squares in the middle, so we can't just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because these are not whole squares right here. So I'm going to turn this into a rectangle and relate the triangle to that old shape. So we've got our rectangle. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, or in other words, length times width is equal to 3 times 5, which gives us 15 squares for this whole rectangle. The triangle takes that rectangle and cuts it in half. So we have half of this 15. If we divide that by 2, that gives us that our area is equal to 7.5 units squared. So we have 7.5 or 7.5 squares inside this triangle. Thank you.